I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
You ate it, Ralph.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
No, Ralph. Oh, you ate it.
I can't believe I ate that whole thing.
Now you're local on the 8s.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Bad, baby. Bad.
Channel 8 at 5:30.
Check it out, man. The question you gotta ask yourself is how badly do you want to see the greatest fucking rock and roll show on the fucking earth, right? You're talking a couple of restaurant joints in the audience. You're talking about up in Detroit, Rock City, brother.
Oh, what I'm gonna do to you. I'm so angry.
We apologize for the profanity, which he also said on our air.
Bunch of guys create bad music, dress like freaks, and wear more makeup than all my sisters combined? No. These assholes gotta stop.
Now starts the IA Music Podcast.
Are we back on? Let's go.
How's that? Is it better?
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot more comfortable.
I love it. Love it out here. It's
Yes.
perfect. You ready? You ready to get going?
Absolutely. How are you, man?
Pretty good. Just drinking water, setting up.
I know.
Over here.
I'm over here drinking whiskey, getting a little dehydrated.
Thanks for the coffee. It's kind of. I don't know if I should ask for the coffee because it's not hot. Not hot, but it's not hot. This is compared to the Valley, right?
The Nespresso machine is it's an ungodly invention. It saved me from many a hungover morning.
Really?
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's a necessity, right?
You know,
to have
like air and water. Coffee is just right there with me, and like the things that I need in life. It's top 1 or 2.
Right.
You know, right
coffee. Yeah. Espresso coffee. You know, it's all the best. Beer.
Beer's nice. I don't know if it's a requisite for me. I would prefer coffee over just about anything besides water.
I love water too. You know, water. I mean, water's a necessity. Coffee's a necessity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. First and foremost, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me over here. And you know,
dude, whenever we were talking about doing this podcast, I was just thinking, like, where else better than to do it on a rooftop?
Right.
My own rooftop. Mostly because 1, I'm lazy, and 2, the alcohol's right downstairs.
Right.
But 3, the view is fantastic, man.
You know, we should explain where we're at right now. You know, we're at downtown San Diego. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and in a secluded compound away from people. No,
right.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, undisclosed area.
An undisclosed location with a fantastic view of most of San Diego.
Right.
I just love the skyline, just being able to watch the airplanes take off back and forth.
I love it out here.
Fun.
I mean, I love walking around here, you know, looking at the skyscrapers, looking up. I've always said I stress that out too, you know, but you're living it. You're out here.
You know, dude, I would love to say I do this at least once a month. This is probably the 3rd time I've been up here.
Really?
In the last 9 months.
Okay.
It is to my detriment that I don't use this.
I know.
Space
you know, maybe because you live here. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, because, I've spoiled myself. And I've just thought to myself, it'll be there tomorrow.
There you go.
But it's nice to invite a friend over and say, look at the cool thing I never get to enjoy.
Check this out, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. Well, I'm going to give you a proper introduction. I always say that proper introduction because you guys take the time to come to my podcast, take the time to, you know, have me on the show. Or you come on the show and me have, you know, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Flo Olivas, right?
Yep.
How's it going,
Florentino
man?
Olivas, the 3rd. I hail from the same hometown that you do.
Right.
In a little desert place right outside of San Diego.
Yep.
And, I mean, that's me in a nutshell.
Right.
I thought it was wonderful that 2 like-minded souls can come together and create something just, you know, for a positive force.
Right.
And let people know, like,
spreading
hey, man,
the word.
Yes.
Of whatever it is that we're doing.
Us little valley people doing big non-valley things.
Because we met up a few times off mic.
Yes.
And had conversations, text messages, and
yes,
it's about our work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been like 3 or 4 years in the making of us talking about doing this podcast.
Yeah,
and I think we finally just sat down and did it.
It's cool. Like, I'm glad we're finally here. You know, you're finally on the show because you have a story. You know, you do have a story. So, you know, from the beginning.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I like everyone else, we all got stories. I just feel like the need that I need to tell mine louder than everyone else's. I was that kid in the back of the fucking class with my hand up all the time. Like, I know the answer. But I think that, you know, just currently where I'm at right now in life, you know, between me writing this book and the book that I'm writing currently is called All My Friends Are Bartenders, which should give you a little peek behind the curtain as to what kind of person I am. You know, I do enjoy going out and drinking. I travel for a living as a traveling chef for a company that I won't use the name because for fear of incriminating the guilty, but we travel around with a circuit of people that drive cars for a living, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But I travel around and I get to experience different, whether it's an airport bar or perhaps maybe I'm at the local watering hole, just in Richmond, for instance. We stayed at a hotel, and right underneath it is a fantastic little, faux Irish pub, all the Irish fake bric-a-brac from nowhere year. And I got to finding that my bartender, after the second day, he knew my name, he knew my drinks. He kind of knew how many I wanted, how many I had, and I was like, this guy's my best friend in a land I don't know.
Right.
Mark, shout out to you if you're listening. He kept me, boozed up. Towards the end of the week, we were there for 7 days. Towards the end of the week, he was just, kind of giving me the homie comp, and that's not what it's about, obviously. But just that it was that respect for one another and each other's profession. We're both hospitality people,
and that would be like another connection.
It was exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this book's more about.
Right.
It's less about getting drunk and more about connecting with complete strangers over conversation and having a little bit.
And what's
of
that book called again?
It's gonna be called All My Friends Are Bartenders.
Oh,
that's a tentative title.
Yeah,
right?
how long have you been writing that one?
About 2 months now.
'Cause that's another thing we bonded over was writing, because we're
Yes.
both writers.
Yes.
We're both writers in a sense.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah, I write just anything. Like
Right.
I'm like one of those kids that used to read the nutrition facts on the back of everything that he ate. So for me, the next progressive step was just writing everything down. So whether I'm at a bar and I'm writing on a bar napkin, or I'm sitting down and actually writing, honing the craft.
Right.
These things they spill out of me. It feels like I need to put it somewhere, and when I don't have anywhere to put it, I start to get really anxious.
Inside your head, right?
Yeah.
So it's like thoughts on paper.
I start to get a little self-destructive.
Yeah.
That's, from what I've been told, I have a tendency when I'm not creating to be very uncreative and very self-destructive, and kind of tend to
angry in a way.
Yeah, totally. I was angry at myself,
right?
Mostly,
yeah,
and then angry at nothing sometimes. But
right.
When I'm not creating, if I'm not creating, I tend to get this really ill sense in my being that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
I was put on this earth to create.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I am the same way. I'm not here. I'm not putting my best foot forward. If that's best
Totally.
thing, because I'm okay. Fuck, I have all this shit that I want to write about, all this things I want to say. It's like I have to get the word out there somehow, some way. But at the same time, it's hard because insecurity. In a way,
insecurity and fear of failing drive me probably more than the accolades of pride or success or the fame. It's that fear that I have been given a certain amount of time on this earth and I'm not doing jack shit to help it. So if I'm just sitting on my hands all day, I'm like, give me something more. For the love of God, give me something that I can take with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just need to be able to create and give something back to the earth bigger than I.
Right. Something to leave, Yeah, leave
exactly.
a piece of you here, piece of you there, piece of you here, piece of you there.
And that's what this book's about, really.
Right.
Is these people that leave little pieces with me and they stick with me forever. It's like a little badge of collecting people's emotions and memories. I take these things with me, and they don't just stay on an airplane, and they don't just stay at the bar. They come with me, and I want to share their stories just the same way that they've shared their stories with me.
Right.
And along the same lines, the show that we're working on called 7 Day Weekend,
which is here to promote 7 Day Weekend.
Yes, absolutely. Right. With and I'm doing that in conjunction with my buddy Darren Buchanan's production company, Standard 10 Productions. We just decided that we would just kind of chronicle what's it like getting from point A to point Z, getting on an airplane, getting to the place, getting off the airplane, meeting people that you may never see again,
right.
Or meeting friends that you hope to God that you see on a regular basis. And that's basically the premise of this show. Is it's less about me and more about the people.
Okay.
People are beautiful everywhere,
right?
And I would just love to show people that either haven't traveled or don't want to travel or just feel like they've seen enough in their hometown that they don't feel the necessity to get out. I would love to just show people hey man, you need to get out.
There's a lot more out there.
There's so much.
Right.
And I'll never see any of it. Like,
Yeah.
all of it, rather.
Right.
I feel like I've never seen any of it because every time I go somewhere, it feels like it's happening for the very first time. Minus the TSA thing where they grow up your junk.
Right.
They treat you like a complete, they treat you like an insane person,
So
which
how-
I get it.
Right. So how did you land this gig? Like, I mean, how long did you take to land this gig? Like, did you plan this out? Did you strategize it? Did it come to you, or?
No, man. My best friend approached me a long time ago and said, we should do something, kind of along the lines of like he would take me on these trips, his work trips, and he's like, dude, you're so fun to drink with, so on and so forth. Right. And he's like, we should do something, kind of involving you traveling and drinking and eating. And I was like, I don't think anyone would want to watch that. But after enough Guinnesses and whiskey rocks, I was coerced essentially into doing this. And him and his buddy Darren, John Garcia, who's my best friend, was the one who mentioned this whole thing and kind of put it all together. He put all the pieces of the puzzle together and has essentially been the backbone of 7 Day Week. And he's kind of he's the producer of the show, essentially. He's the guy that's kind of putting everything together. Darren's the director of photography, and both these guys have a fantastic vision for stuff.
Right. So best friends working together, in a sense?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Pardon me, I'm going to light a cigarette real
No,
quick.
yeah, because I'm over here trying to save this project too as well. Like I said, we were also outside, a new location, a new experience, which I love,
Right.
which I absolutely love. Like I said, I'm trying to set up my equipment too. Just trying to do more, man.
Yeah.
But back to your point, it's like, so you guys were back, you guys were friends from home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's from the Imperial Valley as well, and we've been friends seemingly forever. And after enough times of us getting together and getting drunk and having a good time, we both decided that it would be best for us to just, maybe we should put it on tape, and it'd be, we jokingly said this would be a great thing for us to do,
Right.
and it'll look like work.
And you made it happen. You're making it happen.
Making it happen slowly but surely, and that's it's an uphill battle, man. It's like
Yeah.
waking up every day and knowing that you have to, whatever your grind is, the gym, eating well, going to work, even for some people that's hard enough. But for us, it's like creating every day, writing every day. That's the discipline of writing. Is not like I don't write when I'm inspired, or solely when I'm inspired. I write every fucking day, because if you don't practice your craft, it's like anything else, man. It will go away.
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah, and you have to sit down. I'm sure you're the same way, right?
Right. Yeah, well, I write with everything. My day-to-day schedule, like this is what I'm going to do. Every day requires some type of writing. Not even just creativity, as far as like thoughts and making something up, but within, writing my schedule, taking notes down. Like I'm always writing.
Yes.
I'm always writing. That's just practice.
Are you still a writer on paper as
On paper
opposed to
too as
like on your iPhone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
everything on paper.
Good.
Everything on paper. You were telling me you mess with the typewriter, though. That's pretty cool, too. One of the conversations we had.
Yeah, well, I prefer, I heard it from a writer, and I don't remember which one, but he basically said, I used to type everything, but it made everything too precious and too permanent. So I started writing in pencil so I can remember that there's an eraser on the other end. Basically to enforce the fact that sometimes you write stuff and you think it's great, and sometimes you write stuff and you're like, this fucking sucks. I need to redo this thing.
Yeah.
And the reason why I write on a piece of paper with a pencil is so I can remember, like, sometimes you're just writing just to kind of get the yah-yahs out, just to kind of like, okay, I'm writing, so I'm like in a mechanical version of myself. And then you sit there long enough where the real stuff starts to come out. Sometimes I'll just, pen, or in this case, pencil to paper and just circle. Just a circle until I start to get something going, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to write.
Right.
And that's just something that I do. It's something
A practice.
fun. Yeah, it's something that I'm like, okay, I'm sitting. I have my piece of blank paper in front of me. What am I talking about? And sometimes I'll get lost in a thought, and I'll just start, just like anyone else, I'm sure, that writes. I'm
Yeah.
sure you guys can all relate. Like,
Right.
It's just something that you just start writing and writing and writing, and by the end of it, you're not yet. I try to set a time limit to where I'm like, okay, I'm doing 30 minutes of writing every day. Sometimes it goes over, and I don't mind that. But sometimes I'm like, I'm at least going to sit down for 30 minutes and dedicate this amount of time.
That time, the dedication,
Yeah.
30 minutes.
It went from 15
minutes.
to 30.
Yeah, 15, 20, 30, yeah.
Yeah.
But do it, turn on your phone or get away from the social media for a little bit and just write a little bit.
Totally, man.
And that's why I appreciate deadlines. I love deadlines. Like every time I get assigned a deadline, I'm like, all right, I had to knock this out, In a way, when I was writing for the local, this magazine, deadlines, look at deadlines, and I loved it. And at first, it wasn't kind of like, it's hard, but would you agree, or what do you think about deadlines?
Deadlines are very interesting. I have a lot of self-imposed deadlines for
Right.
myself, and I tend to be strict with them unless I feel that there is more to do. If I just feel like I'm putting something off and I'm just kind of lazy about it, which I'm extremely guilty of, then yes, I do feel like I have 2 weeks to do this, or whatever. That's an arbitrary thought. X amount of time to do this, and I'm going to create this, and this is all I'm going to do. And I say to myself, okay, what's the goal? Where are you at? What's it going to take to get from point A to point Z? I need to figure out the small steps first. It's essentially like writing is like a giant shit sandwich, and I just say like, okay, I know that I'm going to have to eat this thing at some point in time. I'm going to take a bite out of it every single day because it's going to suck every day.
Right.
But it'll be incredibly cathartic at the same time. Mm-hmm. And these things, it helps with my daily life, man. Even when I just write certain things down, like if I have a shit day at work or like a miserable couple hours of my day, if I write it down, it's just like, wow. It's just like you get the monkey off your back and you're
Right.
like, that's it, that's gone.
Off your mind too.
Yes, I've stopped living in the past and I've stopped wanting for the future. It's kind of just about right here and right now.
Right.
Like this podcast, this is it.
This
is all that we have. If we
Right.
died today, we'd die together doing this podcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You never know, right? Fuck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you never know, but
what a wonderful day to die on, too.
Right. Exactly. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. But that's why we have to write, we have to create, and because you never know.
No.
As stupid as it
No.
sounds, not stupid, but it's keep
It's
positive, but
trivial.
you never know. You never know. you
Yes, and that's the thing that drives me. It's that complete wanting to create, to learn at least one thing a day, or to do something that I didn't know that I could do because I told myself a long time ago that seems impossible, or whatever lie that one tells themselves when attempting to create. Because there have been plenty of times where I've been 20, 30 pages deep into something and I say to myself, this is no good, and I'll just fucking throw it away. It's gone. Like I don't want to deal with it.
Delete it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm good. Yeah, well, it used to be deleting, and then I went back
To paper.
because
Right.
it's just so much easier to just fucking.
In my head,
grab.
I'm thinking deleting because when I'm writing,
Yeah.
online, if I don't like it, I'll delete it.
Totally.
Start fresh tomorrow.
Exactly. For me, I needed to have that thing again where I'm like grabbing a piece of paper and crumpling it up in anger and throwing it away and saying you've created trash. The world has enough trash in it.
Right.
Don't put more trash in it. Put art. Put culture. Put something worth reading on a piece of paper.
Right.
There's too much crap out there.
That's how we linked up too. Was writing because you were a chef. You're a chef, and I started writing about restaurants and reviewing restaurants from local San Diego places, and I think you kind of grabbed your attention.
Yeah,
and that's when we
yeah.
started talking about writing, music, and chef. And how did you get into being a chef and stuff like that?
I used to be a dishwasher when I was a kid, and I hated it. And then I learned that if I picked up another skill, I wouldn't have to be the guy doing the hardest job in the kitchen, which is a dishwasher. Shout out to all the dishwashers.
Right.
But I didn't have the backbone for it, so I just figured I'd learn another trade and get into it that way. And then I joined the Navy, and I did. I was a cook in the Navy for a couple years, and then I got out, went to culinary school, went that route, did the French food type of thing for a little bit. But then you end up serving food to people that you really can't relate to, and it's just a very strange thing for me. I need to be able to connect with the people that I'm serving food to.
Nice.
And I learned a lot of solid disciplines from working with really fantastic chefs that taught me a lot of great life lessons. But it just started to feel a little bit empty, so I kind of went back and opened up a little tiny, I wouldn't even call it a restaurant. It was in the back of, Strangers Bar.
Right,
in El
Strangers,
Centro.
shout out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you were doing a couple things out there with.
Absolutely.
Ernie
had kind of gotten wind that I was planning on leaving, and he was like, hey man, I have some space in the back of the bar. Ernie was is just a fantastic, he's it, dude. Like, he's really, like, when it comes to, like, art, culture, stuff like that in the Imperial Valley, he's kind of like, he's the guru. He's the godfather,
Yes.
And he provided me and my buddy Mike with the opportunity to express ourselves for a little bit. And that was fun. I've come back now to San Diego to kind of see what else has happened since I've been gone for a couple of years, and I found that I got really tired of doing the very typical line cook stuff, so I kind of looked in, I asked enough questions to the right people, and I was basically like, maybe I could be a traveling chef. And right now I'm currently a traveling chef for this company. And that's the thing that was like, well, I can't let my travels go to waste.
Right.
I have to create something.
Yeah, and plus you're applying, your chef, your craft.
This is it.
Another side of your craft.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, this is just something like I cook to make people happy.
Right.
Like, that's the one thing that drives me as a cook. Like, it's not about me. Marco Pierre White, a famous chef, says, Mother Nature is the artist and we're just the architects. And I think that the minute that you forget that, you've lost all hope.
Yeah, because being a chef or being in the restaurant, that's a whole art form within itself.
Oh, dude, totally. It's a wonderful thing to be able to create and have people perceive something as art. But I mean, I would say that at least 95% of the cooks that I've worked for and work with, we're under no assumptions, man. Mother Nature's it.
Yeah.
She's the true artist, and what makes me happy is just seeing the people on the other side of the past, just really sitting there enjoying that look of longing that you give people, where they're, it's almost orgasmic, or their eyes kind of quasi roll into the back of their head, and they're just very, they're just in a state of bliss, and
Right.
you're like, I had a little bit to do with that, and if I got to make someone's life a little bit better while mine sucked, I can relate to that and say, yeah, that's worth it to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to take that in. I'm going to take that statement you made. I'm going to listen back. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, it's better to make a lot of people feel really great if you
Right.
feel kind of bad about yourself for a second. It's
Right.
worth it, man.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like backtracking here. I don't know if
Yes,
you
no,
I don't
no,
know-
no.
I don't know if you noticed
Please.
what I'm doing. Okay, so
Yes.
you're covering the current bases. Then you went to before that was being a chef, which we're
Yeah.
at right now. But this all started because of music.
Music is still very much my mistress. I played in a rock and roll band named Colt Vegas for a little while. Actually, for a really, really long time. That was the only people that I created stuff with. And when we kind of disbanded, it was just kind of a real big hole in my being. There was just like this big part of my life that just I wasn't happy with. And I was very dissatisfied with everything I did for a long time. Personally, everything. Even like taking a shower was just like a chore. I was like, God damn it. Like, why can't I just create music again? But I found
Emotionally, right?
it was emotionally draining, man. It was like losing a child or, a loved one. It's something that it was just such a humongous, it was all of me. It wasn't just a part of me. It was what I lived and breathed, that when I had to give that up for, reasons unknown, it was, I didn't realize how long, like, I didn't listen to music for like a year, which is like a long time for me not to listen to music.
Yeah.
If anyone that knows me,
Yeah.
like, it's like, dude, that's who you are, is music.
It's like not podcasting for a year, not writing for a year, not doing something for a year.
It was my body's form of self-imposed exile.
Right.
It was tough. It was, I was unaware that I was probably even depressed. I was in a funk. I was like, I'm not creating right now. And nothing I did, like even food didn't taste great. I didn't have a general love for myself anymore. I kind of fell out of love with like life. And I was like, there's something wrong. I had to change it all. And between the disbanding of Cult Vegas and the, finding myself again in food was just one of these things where it's like, it's a brand new world, man. It's just so wonderful to have like the expression again.
Right.
It's so wonderful to speak to people in a language that isn't words.
On different platforms, jumping from different platforms,
Correct.
which you can create in.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
creating.
Right, because
And-
you can't just like, okay, but my band disbanded. I'm just like, what? I can't create because my band disbanded. No, you can create.
Always. I mean,
you can.
Yes, absolutely. Everyone should always create
Right.
something.
You also don't count on any other people. I mean, you can and you can't in a sense.
I've learned that I can count on myself all the time, and that I am my own worst critic most of the time. Sometimes I feel like I need to be like self-congratulatory, and I almost want to pat myself in the back, but
Right.
I'm in fear of not breaking my spine. I never do.
Yeah.
So like there are just certain things that music gave to me that I felt like filled this humongous void, and when it was gone I had to fill it with a bunch of other stuff, and right now I'm just in a constant state of creation, which is a fantastic place to be. We're at the nexus of like, here and now and what's to come, and it's a great place it's a scary place. It's like free falling, man, and I don't have a parachute, which is scary and fun at the same time.
Free falling. Yeah, I feel that because you're just like in the jungle, like,
Yes,
trying to find the path.
exactly. It's like being in a jungle and you're the weakest dumbest, slowest animal, and you realize that you have to eventually become the king of your own jungle, I guess. Which for me is like that. I know is a lifetime journey.
Yeah.
I'm
Finding,
not
you
looking
have a
for
lot of
that.
mentors? In your-
When it comes to cooking, I definitely have like one guy that I look up to all the time. His name's Samuel Jeffroy, and he's provided me with enough discipline and structure, and has told me enough times like you aren't good enough that I had to get good.
Wow.
You know, and
That's
that's
good criticism in a way, right?
It's a fantastic way of being, because sometimes you do want to be like, yeah, you want to be happy about yourself and kind of put your hands on your hips and like, yeah, I am happy.
Right.
But it's always great to have someone go, you think that's good? At this age, I was doing this. And you're like, fair enough. You know, and I need to get better. That's what drives me, man, is like getting better. But when it comes to writing, I don't know if I definitely don't have a mentor. I mean, I love certain writers a lot, but there are certain writers that...
The reason I bring that up is because, you know, finding a good mentor is good because no one's really teaching us how to do this.
No.
Unless you find a mentor.
It's true.
You know, unless you find a mentor. Because no one's teaching me no one's teaching us how to do this. I stress on that a lot because it's true. Unless we study others.
I would have to say it's great to study others, but like just what the guitar was for me when I was growing up, I didn't take a lesson. I listened to music and I would play it, and I didn't have a teacher, so I just kind of learned my own way. And I had people that I looked up to musically, but I mean, they didn't teach me how to do it. I just kind of, I'd rip people's licks off and write music lyrics that meant something to me.
Right.
When it comes to writing, I've just learned that if people know when you're being disingenuous, and you should always be honest with yourself first and create for yourself.
Right.
But the minute that I release, you know, all my friends are bartenders, when I give that book to the world, it's no longer mine. I've given the art back to the world, and it's like I don't get to have it back.
Right.
So whatever anyone takes from it or criticizes about it, it's like that's their own way of seeing something, and I can't take that away from them.
Same thing with music. Once you put it out there, you can't take it back.
Exactly. I think maybe that was
You learned?
the fun thing, to like being able to like share my music with people, being able to give back to
You guys
the
got
world.
not pretty far, but you guys were doing a few.
We toured a lot, man.
Yeah.
We definitely did a lot. I mean, we wrote an album.
And Colt Vegas is a name out there in the valley that you can recognize.
You know, that's really kind of you to say. We worked really hard at like just building something, a platform of like just doing what we loved, and like all of it was self-promotion, and we didn't have a record label, and we'd book all the shows, and we'd write all our own songs, and we recorded our first album that got nominated for like a San Diego Music Award, which is nice. It's nice to just be recognized.
Right.
But I did it just kind of like I did it for myself for so long that when I started giving it to the world, I didn't realize like, oh shit, like that's theirs now. I don't get to just pull the reins back and say, hey, you can't have that.
Right.
It's too late.
It's too late, yeah.
Yeah, which it's like this because a lot of the songs I'd write are kind of maybe autobiographical, and whenever you do that, sometimes you kind of leave a little bit too much blood on the page.
Right.
And you're just like,
Oh, so you're talking about your life when you're writing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like most of the time you write music and you're just like, like I don't know how much I've shared, you know, and it gets kind of scary, but I've definitely learned to be okay to bear it all.
Right.
Because when you have no shame and no fear, you're free.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what I love about, you know,
Being an artist?
Yes.
I mean, I'm going to say that because
For
you know,
sure.
as an interviewer, you're an artist. I look at you,
Yeah.
you know, and you're an artist. Being an artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of it's innate in my being without sounding like a stuffy old.
Yeah,
you know.
people don't want to call themselves artists, but I get to say I have the right to say
Sure.
it. You know what I mean? You're an artist, and people don't like to call themselves artists because I think
I get it.
that thing. You know what
I
I mean?
just would hate to think when I say I'm a writer that I'm not like, you know, toiling away in my garret, you know.
I kind of feel better calling myself a writer as an artist. So I feel more comfortable calling myself a writer than an artist.
I feel more comfortable calling myself a bartender than I do a chef, than I do a writer, than I do an artist.
So like a mixologist type thing?
No,
that's
just
totally.
beer tent. That is definitely not. And there are tons of people that have earned that title. I pour beer for a living.
There you go.
And I try not to look at myself any bigger or worse or better or smaller than that, because I just try to look at stuff for what it is and not, you know, that's just, you can kind of lose a handle on yourself if you start to go
I don't know
down that
who
rabbit
told me
trail.
that. So we started linking up, me and you, is who told me as far as call yourself a writer, introduce yourself as a writer, and you'll become a writer. I don't know where I got that from. I started
Interesting.
doing that. I started, hey, I'm Omar. I'm a writer. I write. When I started moving out, I moved over here.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you've been published in places.
Yeah, when I moved to San Diego, I was like, I'm gonna be a writer. This is what I'm gonna choose myself. In the Valley, I'm a podcast or whatever. I'm gonna become a writer.
Yeah, I've read your writing. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I started
it's
introducing
very
myself
great.
as a writer, and I became a writer, which is weird in a sense.
Did you always want to write?
I loved English. In college, I took English courses I loved, and that's my biggest, that's my tool. Like, that's my strong suit is English writing. I took a lot of, in college, I took a lot of English classes, and I got A's, and I always loved it. I loved writing, like, as far as autobiographies, writing. I just loved writing. And then I was like, hey, well, I could do this as far as magazines and getting published. I started doing reviews, started writing band reviews. I was good at it. People liked it. And I was like, okay, maybe I can start writing more. Started trying to get more gigs, you know what I mean?
Awesome.
Marketing as far as for tattoo companies, and then magazines came around, and I'm in the same page as you. I'm just free falling.
Yeah.
Free falling as far as see what happens.
It's lovely to just kind of let your life do that sometimes.
Right.
A lot of people want to like hold on to something too tight, and you're just like, it's like the of mice and men analogy where it's like, Lenny just kills the rabbit, and he's smothering it, and it's like you don't want to hold on to something so long that you just smother the life out of it.
Right.
I like to just create and then give.
Yeah.
I've definitely learned that, and not everything is so precious.
Right.
Sometimes you just need to write, and sometimes you just need to throw it out.
Exactly.
I've learned to not kind of slave over every sentence and punctuation, and I
don't think
get
that
caught up
matters
with
because
that.
I think you have to write as a person. They always
Yes.
tell me that too. Is write as like you're talking. You know what I
Yes.
mean? As yourself. That's all I think I learned from college is that you write as yourself. Write as write as you speak.
Yeah, it's
you know?
innate in my being to
Yeah.
just have to exactly, just like you said, write how you speak. And I've tried to do voice memos, and then write it afterwards. But I'm like, no, that sounds weird.
Right.
I think I say too many times. Also, when I'm talking to my phone, I need to get rid of that.
Oh shit, man!
Sound.
When I go back editing these podcasts, I'm like, oh shit, I should have not said this, said that. But I'm learning. I'm always learning.
Dude,
You know?
I just feel like if you say what you're gonna say and you mean it, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, of course.
If that's how one feels, then one should definitely say what they feel.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people don't, man.
They don't.
Yeah.
Because
it's a
insecurity
shame.
again goes back to being insecure. People judging you. People telling you this. People telling you that.
Yep. And as a creator, I'm always insecure about what I'm creating.
Right.
Because I never feel because I matched up to the greats. If you're gonna create something, you might as well want to be the greatest at what you're doing.
Right.
And when you match up some of the stuff that you do, you're kind of like, maybe that wasn't my finest hour.
Yeah.
But you just have to give it to the world anyways.
Right.
I'm looking at a route for doing self-publishing as opposed to having the censorship and the publishing houses and all that.
With your book.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just feel like it would be a lot easier for me to say what I want to say
Yeah.
and kind of have no filter.
And there's ways to do that, right? To go self-publishing. Right?
In this day and age, there's always a way to do something.
Right.
There's no excuses anymore.
Right.
There've never been, but now more than ever, there are zero excuses to be like, well, there's, I can't find a good publishing house or whatever the fuck you want to tell yourself.
Yeah.
I've learned to just say, I'm going to create, I'm going to do it all on my own, kind of take a minor threat, black flag type of a page out of their book and just say, I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm just going to create and create and create and
Fuck what anybody thinks.
I do love and I do care about how people feel
Right.
once I give them my art, but I'm not so concerned about it while I'm creating.
Okay.
When I'm creating, I definitely feel like that's me. If you don't agree with it, I'm sorry that you don't agree. I don't ever do anything to spite people.
Yeah.
I don't do anything to hurt people. But if my words tend to do that, it's kind of like, well, that's who I am, and I'm not sorry.
Right. I totally agree with you. That's where I'm at. I feel that. I feel like exactly the exact same thing. And this all comes from music. Like I said, you did that. You're doing, you did the arts. You did the music, and it's all you can see it.
Yes.
I don't know if you can hear it because you can't really hear it, right now. But you can see it. I'm looking at you right now, and you can just. I see something in you. You know what I mean? It's just okay, cool. Like they say, you have a story, you have something, and you thrive.
That's very.
I guess
kind
that's
of
what
you
it
to
is.
say.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just because the few times that we linked up,
Of
and we
course.
talked.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that when I felt like I kind of woke up maybe about last week. I think when I texted you, I was like, dude, we got to do this thing. I have the time today. Let's get together. I've been putting you off for 3 fucking years.
Right.
Let's just hammer it out, do it, and let's just get together and chat and
Right.
then share it with
The world.
Yeah.
The world. Pretty much the world.
Yeah, the world would love to listen.
Yeah, because same thing with you. When you once you create, same thing with the podcast, you put it out there, it's out there. Yeah.
It's there forever.
Yeah, it's out there, and I love that.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, and then so you do have the book, you did that, and you also have your brother. You also have
Yeah.
your brother, you know, so we also linked up too, because I reached out to him. He had this little documentary that I just released.
He does. Where is that? Is he
He's
over
out, he's
here?
out there in the phone.
No, he's over there. He's over there in phone land.
Yeah,
iPhone
it's all right.
land.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's. I invited him up here so I can introduce you guys. I would love to like have you guys do a podcast
Right.
together.
Within time.
Yeah, exactly.
Within time, yeah.
He's a bit of a creator
Yeah.
himself, and he's one of those kids. I feel like I don't have a lot of faith in humanity sometimes, and he's the guy that goes kind of like in my head. I kind of say like, yeah, I think the world will be okay if there are more people like this.
He sees the light at the end of the tunnel.
He gets it.
He gives you that light.
He gets it better than I do.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm still like, I'm fumbling in the dark. I feels like every year I get older, the dumber I feel, not the
Right.
more enlightened I feel. You know, like the more shit I learn is the more I realize I know nothing.
Yeah, because off mic we were talking about life experience. You know, we're talking about life experience and what we're getting out here, which you can't get over there.
It's different, man. Growing up in a desert town, you kind of don't know any better. We grew up in a time without Instagram or Facebook or social media. We might as well have been stranded like on Mars.
Right.
Like it was a place that was lonely and bereft,
For
barren
years.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I grew up with enough to be happy, and like I said, I didn't know any better. But you know, my family would come up to San Diego, and we'd do like little family trips, and I'd see culture here, and I would maybe buy a Thrasher magazine and see what everyone else is up to and how everyone else dressed and the
Bring it
music
back
they
to the
listened
valley.
to.
Yeah.
And it was just different, man. It was like that little magazine for me. Thrasher, Slap, Juxtapose, all those magazines when I was a kid it was just a really big culture bomb, man. It just really rocked my world.
Outlet.
I mean, to say the very least, I think it's salvation, really.
Yeah, there you go.
I found I found complete salvation in skateboarding and music as a kid, and then you learn to like play music if you're drawn to that.
Right.
And when I was drawn to that, it wasn't for the girls or the booze or the money. I wasn't interested in that aspect of it. I was more interested in having an outlet. You
Right.
know, a lot of people just kind of wanted to live a life and, maybe be a correctional officer or, a sheriff, which are all commendable jobs. But that just wasn't my drive, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to. I wanted to travel. I wanted to live. I wanted to see.
Create.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Create. Yeah, and there's only a few of us out there.
It's different now. I feel like there's like a wonderful hub that, like I said, like Ernie has curated a group of people that we're all disenfranchised with how things have been.
For
we
years.
get to see how things could be with people like, there's so many of them, and I wish that I could like, just spawn like a better like way of being. What's that? Oh, that's okay. Oh, that was our lease officer, Melissa.
Oh, nice.
I get to like, where was I? I lost my train of thought. Anyways,
Right.
It's lovely.
No worries,
No,
thank you.
it's lovely to be able to have
Thanks
the
for your
ability to
leisure.
have like, yeah,
Happiness. Let's do this.
yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. I mean,
No. It's wonderful to be able to like have people be okay with us creating on our rooftop.
Right.
But like,
Arlington?
yes,
El Centro?
yes, exactly, El Centro. Like having the ability to like, where there's a place now, like they do nights on Main Street in El Centro. It's so lovely, man. I love that the fact that they are able to. There's so many more outlets for kids, man.
Right.
And I feel like my brother gets to like he receives a lot of the rewards of people like.
Because you're able to just, like get a booth out there, you're able to spread your word with your art, it's like shit that we weren't able to do that. We had
Yes.
punk shows, we had our shows, but
Exactly.
we weren't going all out. How they're
Exactly.
going doing it now.
No, it's very, very true, man. I think a lot of the stuff that we did was like very DIY. I remember like
Right.
we would draw like on a piece of lined paper, and we would run it through like a copy machine,
Yeah.
and then we would just like hand it out to a bunch of friends, and it was like whoever's parents was out of town that week, that's the show that we would play or go to.
Right.
And it was different then, and now it's great because they're like venues, and you can go and like hang out, and if there's nothing else, I would wish that people would just go check out Main Street right now in El Centro. It's happening there.
Right.
It's such a rad, wonderful thing. There's so many great creators. Jared Storm,
Right.
Liz, with the Antique.
Yeah.
It's such a rad store. Of course, the Godfather, Ernie.
Right.
The craft beer proliferation there has helped a lot with the culture too. I love all that stuff.
The breweries?
Yes.
Yeah, in a way. Well, Ernie brought most of that kind of the craft beer scene in a sense, right? He was kind of in the forefront of that.
Yep, absolutely.
With his bar, Strangers.
Yeah.
Bringing diversity of beers.
Calexico Brewing. Yeah, their beer is fantastic too, man. My buddy Jose and all his boys out there, they're doing a fantastic job. Humble Farmer. Eric Strom doing his thing. He's just all those guys that are just out there like really pushing the bounds of like art, culture, whatever it is. It's just wonderful to be able to be like, dude, thank you for sticking around. I just didn't have the stomach for it. I had to like go I'm one of those people that's
because they say positive.
I'm emotional too much.
Too. Yeah,
I had to go. I was like, it's too much for my stomach. I was like, I'm the guy that's crying in the Selena biography. I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I got to go.
Yeah, me too. I mean, me too. Because they say I did like whatever I did over there, and with the house shows and all that. But like if I would have stuck around, I feel like I wouldn't excelled in a sense. I mean, I love that what they're doing out there. Like, kudos to them. Like they're doing everything. They stuck around.
Yes.
And the
yes.
Strangers West, Strangers. All I see them. We're all watching them. They're all doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But us, it's just like, okay, I have to do more. Like I feel like I had to do more. I
had to do something different. I just had to do I saw it and I was like, this is really great. But like for me, I just have like a wandering spirit, man. Like I have to I'll be in San Diego probably for like the next couple years. But nice is only so nice before it gets kind of like, it's time to go.
Right.
Time to switch up the scenery, make myself uncomfortable.
Definitely.
Uncomfort is a thing that I embrace.
Right.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah. And the big thing about the Valley is the downtime. There's a lot of downtime, and that
Yes.
could get to you as creative.
Too much down. It gets really hot, and when it gets too hot, you stay indoors. When you stay indoors, maybe you order a pizza, and then you drink one too many tiki drinks.
Yeah.
And then, 30 pounds later, you're this like uncomfortable sack of shit. Or at least that was my case. I was like, I got so tired of being cooped up. I just needed to like get out and create again.
Right.
And that was just my experience. You
right.
know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, there's a few of us that can do that, and a few of us can stick around. But there's only a few of us, and I agree with you the same way because I was just in the. It was good. Everything was good. I had the shows. It wasn't a rough patch. I was like, I have to do more. I have to become a writer. I have to fucking just do more.
Yes, and if you have people that have already taken up the cross of like, booking house shows, so on and so forth, like you've already done your job. You've taught people how to do the thing that you were doing, and then we can move on and create more shit.
Yeah, exactly. I did what I had to do.
Yeah, exactly.
We did what we had to do. You were in the show. You were in bands. You're in the bands. You know what I mean? You did what you had to do. Now we're just doing more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for us.
It was time for me to move on. It was time for me to just continue to create and continue to like move forward and in a direction that I found was like maybe more honest to myself.
Right.
Pardon me while I grab my whiskey.
No worries. I love this. So far, it's good. I love this. I've always wanted to just conversate on a rooftop, man.
It's nice to be able to to get a little bit of sun, whichever vitamin it is that the sun gives you. I'm not.
And it's not hot. It's breezy. Like it's perfect. You know what I mean? It's great.
It's paradise.
Yeah.
But even paradise gets old, and it's time for me to It's soon enough, man. I'll be out somewhere else, but
okay.
If anyone wants to check out any of my work, follow me on Instagram. __ 7 day weekend, all one word, and then __.
Yeah, and that's why I have you on, because it goes back to the music and you keep going. So, but you're here to promote 7 day weekend, and your book.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
The main thing.
Those are the two things that are
still
matter
working
most.
in 2018.
Every single day, man. I try to at least take no days off. Take days off from certain stuff, but replace them with other forms of creation.
Right.
If we don't have that, we kind of don't have anything.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But dude, thank you so much, just for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for having me over here. You know what I mean? What else you want to say this on the podcast? Besides music, besides writing, we pretty much covered everything. You know what I mean? Not everything, but what else would you like to say? In general,
create, man. Just everyone just needs to create in a kind of a country full of derision, divisiveness. We need to be people that just love everybody.
Yeah.
Just love everyone and just be good. Be good souls. Create when you can. Life is what you make of it.
Life is beautiful.
It absolutely should
great.
be.
Yeah.
But you know, like that's everyone's choice, I guess.
Yeah, I feel that. 7-day
Yeah.
weekend. So 7-day Flo Olivas. What's your
Yeah.
What's full name again?
Florentino Olivas the
Florentino.
third.
Yeah. People know you.
People probably
And-
know my name.
Yeah, because.
But it's not because of me. It's because how goofy it is. You know.
Plus, you put yourself out there.
You know,
you do.
Yeah, exactly.
You did.
Well, you
You do.
gotta have to. Yeah, that's just a branding thing. You
Right.
have to be that person sometimes. And I'd have to say thank you so much for to John Garcia, the producer of the show, just for kind of pushing me to be that person and say like, stop pretending that you're not this person. Just embrace the person you are because that person is exceptional. And he actually made me realize that. But yeah, I mean, thanks. Shout out to him and his
Yeah.
production company
Yeah.
and
so,
Darren.
Yeah. So when would you be out? When would this the show? Where can we catch the show at? Where?
It'll eventually go on YouTube.
So it's still pre-production.
Exactly, man. We're still filming a ton of stuff, and it feels like every single time we go someplace, we just have so much more work. They're in the process of editing 4 or 5 different shows that I'll eventually have to do voiceovers on, and then they'll do their magic.
Right.
The thing I'm used for is just
The host.
exactly.
The host
They
and-
do the magic.
Yeah. And
I do the easy part. I get to eat and drink.
right, being on camera.
Yeah,
The
that's
face being on
the
camera.
easiest part.
And are you
man.
comfortable with that? Are you comfortable being?
No,
No.
not even a little bit.
No?
No, I actually. There have been times where we filmed and stuff where it's just kind of been like, I kind of want them to get out of my face, mostly because I'm either hungover or just having like a moment to myself, but that's the whole point of what they do. They're there to capture everything.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm just like, it's too early, I'm hungover, I'm still like probably sweaty from like the last night, even though I've showered twice. There's just certain times you're just like, the last thing I need is a camera and asking me what I'm up to.
But they're there to produce, right?
They're there to do their job.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with it because I don't like shit being shoved in my
Yeah.
face sometimes.
Who's writing the script?
I am the only writer of the show. I do the narration. I pick the places we go to. I speak with most of the places that we've gone to. They take care of everything else. They take care of the trips, the hotels, the direction of the visual direction of the show. I'm just kind of there to like. They make everything. I'm just there to curate what it is that they've shown me.
Right. And they
Yeah.
brought you on board? They told you, hey,
They're like, hey man, I think this is a good idea for you.
Yeah.
Because you have the personality for it.
nice.
And it's wonderful to like be looked at in a way that's in a positive light, and people say, no, like we actually like what you're saying, and you're like, all right, well, we can take this as far as it's going to go before I think that maybe I need to do something else.
Right.
And right now I'm still very content, traveling and eating and drinking and meeting people and doing this on camera. But, like everything else, it'll have a season and then...
From there on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm already thinking, I'm quiet because I'm thinking, I'm like, wow, I'm proud of you. Like, I'm proud, I just want to, like, help you and, like, just do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, off
You
mic.
are, absolutely.
Yeah, like, off
You
mic, I'm just
definitely
going to talk to you more. I'm just like, oh, this is, like, really... It's interesting. It's interesting. People should do
Well,
more
thank
of
you.
this. People should do more of this. What you're doing, what we're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I don't know if everyone's built for it, but
Right.
if nothing else, everyone should at least book a random plane trip to somewhere they've never been
Right.
and go and hang out with like the local crowd.
Right.
It's so easy to find things now on Instagram or YouTube or Google.
Yeah.
You know,
You guys are making it happen. You guys are making it happen.
Yeah. We're in the process for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So I'm getting out of this, and people should get out. If you want to take some of this, you make it happen.
Yeah.
Make it happen yourself.
Yeah, you just got to do stuff
Yeah.
on your own.
Yeah.
Because no one's gonna do it for you.
Right. I totally agree.
That's life.
Yeah. Straight up.
That's the Imperial Valley mantra. I feel like the people that get out, they understand.
Right.
And even the people that stay in, they understand. Like, no one's gonna do this for me. I
Yep.
gotta do this for myself.
Yeah.
I would love to just give like an entire shout out to the Imperial Valley. It's such a wonderful place.
Major.
It definitely shaped who I was as a human.
Right.
It taught me like responsibility and what it's like to really be uncomfortable in the summer.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's why we're here comfortable right now with the
Yeah,
sunshine right now.
yeah,
And once
it's
again, it's a
lovely.
beautiful day. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me over.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you for putting me on your podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for being on the show. I'm looking forward to this one. So where can we find your stuff at? Once again, one more time. Instagram.
Yeah,
release
Instagram
dates,
is
all
7
that.
Day Weekend. The book I'll be vlogging on Instagram eventually. I'm not on Twitter, just for the aversions of like I've heard that there's the Twitter rabbit hole that people hop down and then they never come back out. But yeah, if you would like to follow me anywhere, 7 Day Weekend on Instagram, and that would be the number one place to go. That's the only actual thing I use.
Right.
I use Snapchat for silly cat stuff.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
7 Day Weekend, and also your book.
Oh yeah, All My Friends Are Bartenders.
All My Friends. That's a cool name too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That actually just because I said it, and my producer was like, "Yes, that's the name of the book," and you're
Yeah.
like, "All right, well if you say so, you know."
Yeah.
But that should be out by
Sounds like a song.
July. It should be everyone's song. It should
Yeah.
be everyone's like little motto,
Right?
You know.
Yeah. Nowadays.
That should be out by July. I did put a self-imposed deadline on myself.
Okay.
July 2019. You know, unless the world fails and we all go to hell.
Yeah. We'll have this podcast at least out there.
At the very
Yeah.
least. At the very least, we have this podcast.
There you go. Hey, Flo, man. I appreciate you being on the
Cheers,
show.
brother.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so
having
very
me.
much, man.
We'll see you soon, man. Thank
Cheers.
you.
Oh, dude, it's fun. My little ears are fucking getting very like hot.
Oh, yeah.
So we're not allowed to smoke up here, and I saw this is the lady, and I was like, she didn't see it, thankfully. Nah.
Grinding, little bit of hope up in that wallet. Now said that boy hold Christopher Wallace. I just wanna be one of the greats we acknowledge. All day them Franklins under my eyelids here. Been through hellish struggle this year. Still I'm too nice, I swear I'm sincere. I just want my girl to say I've been there through the thick and the thin. I ain't leave on a whim, cool breeze in the wind, seas in the wind. Said fuck the game and I eased in again. Listen, it's all me, no need to pretend. OZs to the face, all I need is a pen in the end. We ain't get no help from the government, so when they come with that advance, better double it. I'm here trying to move a pack like it's double mint. My bed mother still tripping on some other shit. Product of what the past do. You see, I'ma pay dues what they past due. I pray that I break through any glass roof, cause all a nigga ever wanted was a black coupe and a crib, pool for the kids and a free. Any niggas that I knew doing biz, can I live? Trying to leave my gig every day. False hope, what more can I say? I've been caught up in the field.
Won't stop, I ain't gonna stop till I rise to the top. Grinding every day, trying not to get stuck out here. Don't stop, won't stop, I ain't gonna stop till I rise to the top. Grinding every day, trying not to get stuck out here. I'm still grinding, still trying. It's not over, it's not over.
We live and die in the field. 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 Grinding, trying to make a mill is an assignment. Cliche, but I'm a product of my environment. Married to the game, 24 karat diamond. I'm in way too deep, it's all timing. Wait until I find it. Alzheimer's. We forget about the times with the people in our lives. More drama, more problems, more commas. People in the Congress really just profile us still. Everything, leave it in my will. Hella cardio, baby, I can fit the bill. But I feel like I'm far gone in my real life. Like everything will fall apart, and it still might now. Real quick part of my lifestyle, but I spent some nights out, the crib, the lights out. Life is a game, I'm here to dice out. Could've went to school instead, the mic route. Steer clear of the repo, baby. Let a couple people tell it he's so lazy. He's amazing, but it don't faze me. Cause either way, I'ma be this man they make me. Out to be like king on a balcony. And truthfully, there's more people that's out for me. I got the Midas touch, it's something like alchemy. In the field, I just feel what I'm dealing with is real life.
Won't stop, I ain't gonna stop till I rise to